Hey families, just wanted to check in day 8. You can see I've got our charts still up and we're going to talk about that in just a few moments because I got a few comments back from yesterday from you guys. Don't forget to comment. You can either do it online when you see the video on YouTube, or you can go on our class story and comment underneath the links that I send you each night. I noticed that a parent did that last night and that was awesome because I could see it immediately when it came up on my dojo. So I just want to give a shout out to a few of our friends today. I got some pictures from Jeremiah. He was working on his time card matchup and it looked amazing. I want to give a shout out to Renaya. She was reading today from one of our leveled readers and she looked like she was really engaged and doing a great job. So thumbs up for you guys for keeping motivated and just working every day. If you want to share with me some of your pictures from what you're doing, go ahead and make mom and dad take a picture of you and send it on Dojo. That's the best way to take care of it. We're still talking about space. Yesterday we introduced the object that is in the daytime sky, which is the sun. And one of our friends commented last night, it was Gunner. He said that he really thought it was super cool that the sun heats up the lakes and the rivers and the oceans and turns it into water vapor. So I'm going to add that to our new learning. I'm going to go over to the L because that's where our check mark is. And I'm just going to add that the sun heats the earth. So let's add that here. The sun heats the earth. And I almost put a lowercase e and then I realized, wait a minute, the earth has a name and it's important, so I need to capitalize that e. Thanks so much, Gunner, for giving us that understanding so we could put it on our anchor chart. Today we're going to learn a little bit about the night sky. So we've talked about the daytime sky, and the nighttime sky is going to be our topic for tonight. And I just want you to notice how bright it is behind me. I think you guys brought the sun out for me today. I told you I thought it was going to get sunny on Wednesday, and here we are. So our story today is, can anybody tell me if it's fiction or nonfiction? Yeah, if you said nonfiction, give yourself a kiss on the brain and a pat on the back because you are correct. It has an author from National Geographic Kids, and it's by Stephanie Warren, Drimmer. That's interesting. And one of the ways we know this is nonfiction, or another way to say that is that it's real, because it has photographs on the cover. This is a real person using a special instrument to look at the stars. And if anybody knows what that special instrument is called, I want you to message it to me so I know that you're listening. So if you know what this special instrument is that he's using, it's a tool that scientists use to look at the stars. I want you to message it to me tonight. So our title today is Night Sky. And I have a feeling we're going to learn a little bit about the things that are in the sky at night. Oh, I noticed another text feature. Anybody want to tell me what that is? Yeah, you're right. I can hear Corbin in my ear saying it's a table of contents. Look up. Earth's sidekick. Twinkle, twinkle. Cool facts about space. A home for the sun. Flying objects. Spot the dots. Who's out there? And there's a quiz and a glossary. Hey, that's interesting. We made a glossary before we left about all the interesting new words we found in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pretty cool that there's one in this book too. Let's check out that heading. Look up. When the sun goes down, dots of light fill the night sky. Some of them move, others are still. Some twinkle, others don't. Have you ever wondered what they are? I bet you can tell me what they are. What do you think they are? They're stars, of course. On most nights, one object looks bigger and brighter than anything else, though. It's the moon. The moon is a ball of rock that orbits Earth. It looks big and bright because it's only about 240,000 miles from Earth. Compared with the other objects in the sky, that's really close. Remember, this is only 240 1,000 miles, the sun was 93 million miles, so quite a bit closer than the sun. Sometimes the moon looks like a circle, and other times it's a curved or a sliver. That's because the moon orbits. I'm going to show you this illustration. They did a really awesome job on this diagram, and I'm sure you've seen the moon look like this, so I'm just going to let you glance at it for a moment. There's one caption that says full moon and a second caption that says new moon. It takes the moon about 1 month to travel all the way around the Earth. At the full moon, the side facing the Earth is fully lit up by the sun. At the new moon, the side facing away from Earth is lit up. Oh, so it rotates. Oh, that's what they mean by the word orbit. An orbit is a circular motion when it turns. Light from the sun reflects off the moon, making it look bright. As the moon orbits Earth, we see different amounts of the lit up side. This makes the moon appear to change shape. So we're not losing parts of the moon, we're just seeing parts of the moon. It depends on where the light is hitting the moon. It's kind of like when you use a flashlight and you can only see the spaces that the flashlight is touching, the light from the flashlight is touching. It's pretty cool. Sometimes as the moon orbits, Earth lines up in between the sun and the moon. And when that happens, the Earth blocks most of the sun's light. The moon looks so dark and orange. This is called a lunar eclipse. Look at that dark orange moon. So interesting. Look, it shows you the diagram of how it gets in the middle. Here's the Earth, here's the sun, and here's the moon. The sun is showing light on the back, and the Earth is seeing the dark. So it makes it look like it has a ring of sunshine. And that's a different eclipse called a solar eclipse. Pretty awesome. We had a solar eclipse a couple of years ago. We even got out of school to see it. I remember putting on those really cool glasses with my Eli to see it. On a clear night, the sky is filled with tiny twinkling lights. These twinkling lights are stars. If you guessed stars, you got it right. Stars are giant balls of burning gas, but since they are so far away, they look very small. Stars appear to twinkle because their light is bent back and forth as it travels through Earth's atmosphere. Oh, and it has a caption. It says that an atmosphere is a thin layer of gas that surrounds our planet. Think of it like a barrier, like something that has to travel through a barrier. If you connect stars with imaginary lines, you might see a special shape. Those are called constellations. People have been looking for constellations since ancient times. Sailors used them to find their way across the sea, and storytellers even made up tales about the people and animals that they saw in the stars. This drawing of a constellation called Orion was based on a book called Fixed the Stars. And the book was written by a scientist in the 10th century, thousands of years ago. This constellation was called the Giant. He does look quite fierce with his long arms and his weapon. The Big Dipper is one famous group of stars. It's a part of a constellation called Ursa Major. To some people, it looks like a ladle or like a soup spoon. Others see a wagon, a cleaver, or a mother bear and her cubs. A star map or app can help you find other constellations. So I'm going to let you see the Big Dipper. That's Ursa Major. And then I'm going to let you see the star map that the scientists that study the space constellations or the star constellations have created. All different kinds of really exciting, different shapes. I see a triangle I see something that looks kind of like a fish, maybe a kite. I guess we could imagine that it's all different kinds of things, couldn't we? So here are some cool facts that we may not know. Stars are so far away that it takes millions of years for their light to reach Earth. But if you look closely, you'll see that stars come in different colors. Some are white, blue, yellow, orange, and red. If you could drive to the sun, the trip would take 177 years. And I'm kind of saying to myself, I wonder why they're talking about the sun if the book is called Night Sky. Well, what did we just learn? That the sun is always up in what? Always up in space. It doesn't go to sleep or go to bed like we thought. It stays up in our solar system. And instead of the sun moving, the Earth orbits and turns away for the night. And then it comes back around for the day. And then it goes back to what? The opposite side for the night and rotates back around for the day. Enough space dust and rock fall to the Earth each month that you could fill up a swimming pool. And for what we know, the universe is 13.8 billion years old. Jupiter has 67 moons, and if you spot a light moving slowly across the sky and it's flashing, it could possibly be a satellite. That's a pretty cool piece of equipment. Look at all of its solar panels. They take in energy from the sun to help it function. There's only one star you know well, and it's the sun. The sun and everything that orbits it is called the Milky Way galaxy. Galaxies are large groups of stars held together by gravity. There are 400 billion stars in the Milky Way, and they form a giant spiral shape. If you can look at it, it looks like all of those pictures of space that we've seen out in our science information. Like when I look up something about space, it always shows a picture of the Milky Way galaxy. On a very clear night, you might see part of the Milky Way. It looks like a wide, hazy strip stretching across the sky. Have you ever seen a shooting star? These streaks of light aren't really stars. They're meteors, small lumps of rock that fall to Earth. They glow quickly as they're coming through the Earth's atmosphere. Remember, that's that barrier of clouds or gases from where things from space come into Earth or onto Earth. They have to pass through the atmosphere. Once in a while, you might also spot a bright star-like object with a long tail. That one is called a comet. Watch for it on many nights, and you'll see that it travels slowly across the sky. So a meteor actually comes to Earth, and a comet moves across the sky. Stars twinkle in the night, but you may see some dots that don't. These are planets in our solar system. They are brighter than most stars, and planets are large balls of rock or metal or gas that orbit a star. Planets don't make their own light. They reflect light from the stars they orbit. Besides Earth, 7 other planets orbit our sun. You can spot some of them just with your eyes. Venus is the brightest. Here's our system. You've seen this a lot, I'm sure, when you've looked at all different types of texts. You might even have a puzzle of this at home, because I know we do. Mars looks red, and you can see Mercury and Saturn too. Uranus and Neptune are so far away, though, that you would need a telescope to see them. There are more than 300 billion trillion stars in space. That's a really big number. About half of the stars have planets, and scientists say that some of them could be home to other living things. When you stare at the night sky, someone might be staring back. That's an interesting piece of equipment. All right, here's our glossary. There's a picture of the atmosphere. There's the picture of a lunar eclipse. There's a reflection onto the Earth's surface, a satellite in orbit, and there's gravity. That's what's holding us down to the Earth. All right, so I have some new information for you tonight. So we're going to change our camera, okay? And we are also going to change our anchor chart. So I'm going to just switch it up just for a moment. So if you'll give me 2 seconds to change this out. I have our Venn diagram from yesterday. Where we added information about the sun. And I'm actually going to add Gunner's comment about how the sun heats the earth. So we're going to put it down here. The sun heats the earth. And now we're going to move it over to the moon, because our text today was talking a lot about things we see at night, and the moon just happened to be one of those things. So it looks like if you take just a moment with me to look at the heading, there's a new circle that's empty, and it's also got the heading with the moon. So one thing I learned about the moon is that the moon actually, what? The moon doesn't change its shape, it just has phases. So I'm going to put that on here. The moon has phases, and that's when the light hits it in different sections of where it's traveling around the earth. And I also know that the moon and the sun both stay in our solar system. So to be honest, I don't need to put that in the moon circle, and I don't need to put that in the sun circle. I feel like that needs to go in the middle. So when we find out information about both items, we're going to stick it right in the middle. So the sun and the moon do what? They stay out in our solar system at all times. None of them go to sleep. None of them go away. They just orbit in a special cycle so that we can see the moon sometimes and not others. But both the sun and the moon stay up in our universe or in our solar system at all times. So I'm going to put one right here that says solar system. They don't get to go to bed like we do at night. So I hope you've enjoyed our lesson today. I tried to make a point to have only one link tonight so you don't have to have two. Hopefully you're learning new things and keeping up with your work at home. If you would please make sure you comment below or on our class dojo about something you know about the moon. And if you're like me and come up with something that is in both of our circles about the sun and the moon, add that on there too, and I can put it in the middle so it goes under both circles. So I hope you have a great night and a good afternoon. See ya.